Welcome to TUBARS by Uncle Briss. Album reviews, ain't nothing ill as this. Putting on for the tri-state, my state, home of Philly, even the West Coast they feeling. They shared and bombed in Detroit, they watching. Subscribe to the channel, they ain't even an option. International grinding, like it a comment. Ain't no acting Hollywood, he holler back in the comments. Putting out whack music is risky. Peanut butter artists get the skip piece. If you nice, then he rate you on a family scale. Underground and mainstream, he mix it well. Some reviews are so opinionated. On keep it real, like it or hate it. But how can you hate it? It's next to greatness. At Uncle Briss 30, do me that favor. Follow that, promise he'll follow back. Realest thing to hit the internet. Hater, swallow that.
Back once again. It's the uncle. Come on, y'all. What you watching? TUBARS, the Uncle Briss Album Review Show. Listen, everybody was asking me to do a review for this album. Apollo Brown and Skyzoo, nothing but hip hop. I definitely got to tell y'all what I think about The Easy Truth and Dave East, man. I mean, he's been making waves. Everybody's talking about his new mixtape / or album, whatever you want to call it. Kairi Chanel, and somebody that is really showing that he is trying to follow in the footsteps of his father. And I'm talking about Chris Rivers. He came out with this Medicated Consumption 2.0, the son of the great Big Pun. I definitely got to tell y'all what I thought about that. But, of course, you know how I do. I got to tell y'all about what I was able to grab this week. I grabbed a lot of music because it's been a few weeks because I did that dope interview last week of the homie Mike Val. Make sure you check that out. We sat down and talked a little bit about what he's doing. And I'm going to tell you, I was waiting for this ball to come out. He's been chilling for a minute. He had a really dope piece of work that came out last year, and I'm talking about my man Yellow Wolf. He got a nice EP called Hotel. You definitely don't want to miss out on that. And I've been saying this boy's been working so hard. He keeps just releasing all of these mixtapes. My man Currency is back with Andretti 930, and everybody's been talking about this G-Unit representative, Lloyd Banks. He brought out All or Nothing, and I was so surprised when I seen Meet Zeus by J.R. Ryder. I was able to dig in a little bit. You know, J.R. Ryder from the Diplomats, he's back. You might want to grab that. And how can I forget my neighbor, the OBH representative, Dark Low. He bought a double disc out, Dark of Belly. Make sure you go grab that if you want some of that Philly street music. And I'm gonna tell you, this ball right here, the Locksmith, he brought out this Lock Sessions before his album that's supposed to drop this fall, this year, which should be pretty soon, and I'm so anticipating this because this freaking mixtape or album, whatever you want to call it, is just bananas, alright? He got this freaking track called Epic that is exactly what the title is, Epic. And the boy, like from Pac Did, I'm telling y'all, he's been releasing some really dope albums in the past few years, you know, since they broke up. I heard they got back together. I hope they're back together, but he got this nice album called Songs Made While High. He got a dope track with Anderson .Paak on there. You definitely don't want to miss that. And now these boys are stepping up to the plate, y'all, because of all of the violence and the police brutality that's going on. My man T.I., he got this nice little EP, Us or Else. Got some great messages on here, y'all. You definitely don't want to miss that. And I was going to do a review on Danny Brown's album, Atrocity Exhibition, excuse me. But in any case, I didn't, I was able to dig in a little bit. He got a nice track on there with Kendrick Lamar and Ab-Soul. You know, it's pretty dope, but I could tell you sometimes Danny Brown's voice just starts to get on my nerves after a while. Not saying that the album is not good, but I just can't listen to him for a long time. And what has really had my attention this whole freaking week, and it's not a hip hop album, y'all. It's one of the best R&B albums of the year so far, and I'm talking about Solange, A Seat at the Table. If you love R&B music, if you love soul, if you love neo soul, you would definitely love this album. It is one of those albums that is probably going to get slept on. She kind of goes under the radar because of her sister, but I'm going to tell you, in my personal opinion, she actually makes better music than Beyonce. Beyonce might be a better entertainer than her, but musically and sonically, I think that Solange is just a better artist, y'all. So you definitely don't want to miss out on A Seat at the Table. And I'll be back after these messages.
Everybody got a destination. Tell me where you tryna go. Everybody go through situations. Everybody want that same old pot to go. But why it gotta be like that? Why can't we be free like that? Live all our life carefree like that. Whoa. And this is all I was told. As I smiggity smoke on me, la la, sunshine rolled it for me when we freak. She call me Dada. High as the stars, maybe Mars, I am on fire. Hot as the sun, I am the one, the Messiah. No church, no choir, but these hymns prove why he's him. I'm self-made, so much work in these gyms. My mind raised so much pad in my pen. I'm rad, I can rap my ass off and then still take a on a dope beat. In the booth, lecking out like a dope fiend. That's going through withdrawal. It's all smooth, that's what she said. I'm talking about the beat and you acting like a tweak. I'm talking fashion week and you talking like a freak. Next thing you know, you talk yourself right into them shades. You ain't listening, I swear you ain't really listening. Everybody got a destination. Tell me where you tryna go. Everybody go through situations. Everybody want that same old pot to go. But why it gotta be like that? Why can't we be free like that? Live all our life carefree like that. Whoa. And this is all I was told.
Hey, and I'm back, and welcome to the second segment of TUBARS, the Uncle Bush Sound Review Show. And listen, y'all, I've been listening to this boy for a few years now. I was very, very excited when I found out that one of my favorite MCs had a son that was out here spitting crazy bars. I'm talking about Big Pun's son, Chris Rivers, and he brought out this dope project a few months ago, Medicated Consumption, and now he's given us like 8 more tracks on this Medicated Consumption 2.0. And I'm gonna tell y'all, if you want to know if somebody is into hip-hop like their father, it's definitely Chris Rivers, and I'm gonna hop right in. He begins with this really, really dope track called Born for This, and it just talks about the ups and downs of his music career, and if he thinks that he's really born for this, and you know, he kind of reminds me of his father, and you can hear the hunger from the start on this album. So it's a really, really dope track. You definitely don't want to miss out on it. Then we get into The One, and The One has this really nice late 90s type of 2000 feel, and he just tells the listener how he's been number one for quite some time now, and how we need to recognize who he is in the rap game, and how he's the son of the great Big Pun, and y'all definitely need to respect him. He even tells y'all to kneel down, or these rappers out here who think that they're, you know, somebody to kneel down and pay some homage, you know, because he's the son of Big Pun. And then we get into I Need My Jordans, and I love this track. He talks the chase of material. Even though we might be broke, you know, you might need to pay your rent, you might need to do certain things, but we still out here chasing material things, standing in line for Jordans and all of that. You know, he talks, you know, trying to get women, clothes, cars, etc., etc. So I really, really love the concept of this album. The only thing that I have wrong with this particular track is the production. It just kind of lacked a little bit, but it's still a good track. Then we get into I Just Wanna Rap. And this features a dope female MC, Nitty Scott MC, and this track, I love it because it has a little flip to it. So as Chris Rivers is talking about, he just wants to rap and he wants to take care of his lady by doing that. His lady is like, no, you ain't gotta rap. I just want to trap and I'm gonna get money and you ain't gotta do nothing because I'm gonna take care of you from trapping. Really, really dope concept. Shout out to Chris Rivers for putting some thought into some music these days. Then we get into this really, really dope track, The World Ain't Ish, and it features this boy Whispers. Now, Whispers, he got a dope mixtape out called The Red Door, if I'm not mistaken. This freaking mixtape is bananas. And I'm going to tell you, a couple of these tracks on this album is from this, and this is one of the tracks on there. Whispers, he just destroys this freaking beat, yo. And I'm going to tell you, it's like one of the highlights of this particular album. So shout out to Chris Rivers for putting his man on. Then we get into Black Hearts, which features the respected Styles P. All you hear is bars. Production dope. You definitely don't want to miss out on that track. We got Overload, which is one of those rapid fire type of tracks. It's not really one of my favorites just because of the production on here. I love the bars, but the production kind of went down on this particular track. We get into Titan. I love it. I love the confidence in this particular track. Not I love the track, but the confidence in the track. Once again, production just kind of lacks on this track. So, you know, it's not one of my favorites. It's not a Skippies, but it's not one of my favorites. Then we get into Julio, or whatever you want to call it. Once again, featuring Whispers, who is just like the highlight of this frickin' album. This is like a slang term for serving, you know, the public a certain type of drug. Again, this is on the Whispers mixtape too, The Red Door, and Whispers just goes off as he just brags about having people lined up for what he's serving. Really, really dope track. Then we get into Burning, featuring Whispers again, and Sheik Luch. I mean, this is probably my favorite track. The bars are just freaking bananas on this freaking track. You definitely don't want to miss out on it. We got Riding with my G's, featuring the great Jaron Benton. He had a nice project out earlier this year. It has a really, really dope beat. Jaron just kills this freaking beat. It's one of those up-tempo type of flows on both parties, and it's just a dope song. We got Rollin', featuring once again Whispers. Whispers is all through this album. It got a nice dope sample. I hear Chris Rivers' confidence in this particular track is some nice brag rap. And I love the fact that he compares himself to his father on this track. That was just so dope. Shout out to Chris Rivers for that. Then we get into Choose Me, Skippies. And then we get into It's Love. Now we're back into some really, really good substance on this particular album. My man, he discusses the things that you go through in life, but how love is really there and how you should try to find love. And once again, his flow, he just rides this beat so good. And we get into Different. I love the vocals on the chorus. This is a great way to end this album. He talks people who you might have a similar look or maybe some similar qualities to people, but really, all in all, you're different. He's different. He's separating himself from people. He talks about, the doubters, people who fronted on him, people who threw shade at him. He's separating himself from them. And I really, really love this track to end the album. I'm gonna rate this. I can tell you, the track it kind of lacks some production, and that's part of the reason for the rating that I'm going to give it. And also, it has not so many, but it has a lot of tracks from my man Whispers mixtape. So that kind of brought it down a little bit for me. It's a solid piece of work, but I definitely had to call my cousin on this one, y'all. I'll be back after these messages.
Didn't expect this. Cat Track. That right. AKA Fred Peck. That right. Hello. Jump up on the track like hello. These niggas ain't even on my level at all. These niggas ain't even on point when a nigga on point like I'm elbow. My whole clique strapped down Team Velcro. Criminal, but I ain't going back to jail though. Man, I would love to put this out in the relo, but these damn papers that I'm on say hell no. Rolling through the city in the hoopty with a hype groupie trying to do me. I just hit the chill button like me up at Lucy. She acting like a badass, listening to boozy. I'm thinking about her giving head at the movie. I get dome, you can eat the coochie. I've been that boy since niggas wore coochie. Hot like a sauna, spit like a Uzi. I don't see no cop, these niggas goofy. All eyes on me, these niggas newsy. Everything ass, these niggas booty. I'm the only nigga you don't see any loony. Wanna go to war, nigga, you gon' need Sony's. You gon' need money, nigga, you gon' need Tony's. I wanna go, my nigga, we rollin'. And I'ma give him hell to the shit over. Jump up on the track like Izzo. Start spitting that from the get-go. Start spitting that crack. In fact, when you hit 16, nigga, that drop 32 shells from the pistol. Finna get greasy, nigga, Crisco. And when them shots let go, you better get low. 1 round from the pound and a killer hippo. I've been the nicest, you ain't know though. Wreck, catch a dope, seek the logo. If I come with your ass for show, I'ma put that bad Manolo. I got a plan to lock down the east. That's why my posse lock down the streets. I load my piece and I ground the beef. It's catch right patch till I'm found the seats. A while ago I tried to tell them niggas. I tried to school them, they was fools. I had to fail them niggas. These niggas catching wreck, but yet they tell on niggas. You tell on me, my squad will find you, split your melon, nigga. Jump up on the track like yeah.
Hey, and I'm back. Once again, it's the Uncle, and welcome to the third segment of TUBARS, the Uncle Chris Allen Review Show. And my man Dave East, he's been making some noise for a few years now. He's signed to one of the greats. I'm talking about Nasir Jones. You know, a great pickup for my man Nas, the Harlem representer. He brought out a really, really nice album, Kairi Chanel. It just so happens to be, well, purposely done. It's the name of his child. It's the name of his daughter, which, you know, we see him, you know, in social media. He's always with her, doing stuff with her. So shout out to Dave East for that. But he brought out a really nice body of work. And you know what? I'm going to tell y'all what I thought about it. I'm going to hop right in. So we get into the first track. It was written. It's just a nice intro into the plight of Dave East, how he got from point A to point B, and the steps that it took for him to get where he's at right now. Then we get into Type of Time. And on this particular track, he talks his growth, and now he's on the bigger and better things. That's the type of time he's on, you know, just changing his life. When he started, he wasn't a hater. He didn't really hate on anybody, and he's basically never going back to struggling. So he's on that type of time. Then we get into, again, and I'm going to tell you, this beat is one of those beats that just grab you. There's tons of brag rap on here. You know, he got some nice wordplay. So the track is actually okay. Then we get into Can't Ignore It, featuring none other than 2 Chainz. And this beat is so freaking hard, y'all. I'm telling you. It's one of them joints that if you got a system in your whip, you could just dump this joint. And you know, if it's got 2 Chainz on it, it's a bunch of brag rap. I'm gonna tell you, I do get some enjoyment out of this. They talk about the stuff that's in front of their face, and you know, they just can't ignore it. Then we get into From the Heart, featuring 7 Streeter, and has a really, really nice sample from Sending My Love. It's a nice homage track to like your boys that's in jail, and you know, he's talking to them. They're doing bids, and he's sending stuff from his heart, and he talks about putting money on their books and all of that. But I'm gonna tell you, on this particular track, it seems a little forced to me. It's not really Dave East style, the Dave East that I, you know, listen to his previous mixtapes that I love. It just didn't kind of fit his style, in my opinion. Then we get into 30 Niggas, and once again, Dave is talking about his humble beginnings and where he's at now, the progression, and how he encourages his people or his folks that look up to him to do what you got to do in order to get what you need to get. You know, that track is okay also. Then we get into a really, really dope story called Keisha. It goes through a little situation where he meets a young lady. Him and the young lady, you know, they talk, they start to date. He sets up a date to go see the young lady. Then she winds up, setting him up and robbing him. So I really thought that was a dope track. Then we got Eyes on Me featuring Fabulous. It got this funny interlude at the beginning. And him and Fab, it's kind of like a smooth track. They just basically talking about chicks that's just focused on them. It's not one of my favorite tracks on this particular album. Once again, it's one of those tracks that just don't fit Dave's style to me. I love when Dave I love his brag rap, and he got them hard bars that I really enjoy, and that hunger. I just don't really hear it on this particular. Matter of fact, the whole album I don't really hear the hunger that I used to hear. Not saying it's a bad album, but I just don't hear that. Then we get into, one of my favorite tracks, SDE, featuring Cameron. We know Cameron had an album out called SDE, and I love this track. Once again, it's brag rap. And then you got Cameron, for some odd reason, whatever you want to say about him, he always in the mix, and he always comical. So I really enjoy that track. We got Don Pablo, more brag rap. The only thing I'm telling you, the melody on this track is just beautiful. I love it. This is where you hear like art and hip hop music that is completely getting lost in hip hop music today. He talks his love for music, and quite honestly, y'all, this is probably the best track on the album, in my opinion. Then we get into none other than The Real Is Back, featuring somebody who's been in the press here lately, my main man, my neighbor, Beanie Siegel. And I'm going to tell you, they talk about the realness coming back to hip-hop. I love how even though it's a gap between age and it's a gap between when Beanie came out and Dave East came out, they both talking about that realness and how they bringing the realness back to hip-hop. Such a dope track. And Beanie with the OG bars, I don't care what y'all say. This ball, that's my man. Then we get into Slow Down featuring Jazzy Amra. Another nice track, we're just trying to school the youth on making better decisions, and also how old heads, us, we got the responsibility to teach the young boys too. So I really thought that this was a nice track. We got Don't Shoot, once again, artistry and music. Thank you, Dave East. He goes through the progression. A young boy, he kind of changes his voice into a little kid voice. Talks about, not being subject to certain things, police brutality, him not knowing. Then he goes into like a teenage life. The same thing, running into police. Then he grows into a grown man. And then, something happens. He gets pulled over by the police. And I'll leave the ending for you to listen to for yourself, because it's such a beautiful track. Then we end the album with someone else who has been in the hip-hop news lately. This track, Bad Boy on Death Row, featuring none other than The Game. And this is hip-hop at its best. They go back and forth. Dope bars, brag rap. I love this song. Dave East, shout outs to you for ending this album on a great note. I'm going to rate it. I'm going to get off of y'all nerves. The only issues I had with it is some of the tracks just didn't fit my man Dave East style, so I definitely had to call my cousin on this one. And I'll be back after these messages.
Yo! We got the Hunger Haven mic down, man.
That's right.
You already know, Box Money, West Side, King Family. Yeah. He used to walk from southwest to west on him. Now he walking through the mall with a check on him. Now a pretty broad want to check on him. So when you mention his name, put some respect on him. When you're matching up, you gotta put your best on him. He used to ride a pedal bike with the tech on him. When he was trying to get right, they went left on him. So now he come through snapping, yay west on him. Same guy you had to call for them pieces, now you gotta call for them pieces. I know it ain't right, dog, I just gotta thank Jesus for this. Lord knows I need it, Lord knows I'm ready for the fame and the riches. The nice fast causing the money I don't wanna spend, but it's in it, look good for the pictures. A lot of boyfriends wanna lynch us, but shit, we came from the trenches. The bottom, but shit, you had to know it. There was snakes in the grass, so I had to mow it. They was telling me to save it, but I had to blow it. LV was on my shoes, shit, I had to show it. A lot of dudes screaming street, but they not official. Shit, they soft as in the island tissues, but all over a CD, they make threats to get you. Just leave Martin and take your rock wallet with you. I got booked with the pistol, my girl came to get me. Yeah, we been through some still banging with me. Shit, everybody in my squad used to slanging with me. Except for Mike, but that's alright, he's still ganging with me.
Hey, and I'm back. And this is none other than the fourth segment of frickin' TUBARS, the Uncle Britt's Island Review Show. And yeah, it's been out for a little while, but how could I not talk about the second half or the first half or the half of the Barrel Brothers? My man Skyzoo, him and Apollo Brown decided to get together and just bring us the easy truth. So I definitely gotta tell y'all, I'ma hop right in. This actually begins with a nice track called One and the Same. It's just a great way to begin an album, as my man Skyzoo talks about, you know, him chasing his dreams and how you really gotta buy material things or show off just to shut people up. And, you know, really, do you gotta do that? I don't think so. He also talks like these lessons learned from his mother and his father. So it's just a great way to begin the album. My man Skyzoo's wordplay is always so dope. Then we get into Jordans and a gold chain. And the Jordan metaphors that he flips on this particular track, I love it. It's another track about us just chasing material things. The tradition that we've created in our communities, standing in line for Jordans. You know, we just get stuck in this mind frame sometime, you know, being a part of this material stuff that we be chasing, you know. So I really love that track. Then we get into a really dope, true to heart track called A Couple of Dollars, and it features none other than one of the Slaughterhouse representatives, and I'm talking about my man Joel Ortiz. It talks, you know, the reality of just chasing your dreams, chasing music, chasing material items. You know, Skyzoo talks about things in his life that motivated him. You know, he talks about wasting money, and Joel Ortiz is one of the realest verses that I heard from him. He talks about, you know, how he was up when he was out there getting money, you know, hustling or whatever. Then he fell, and then he just decided to just pursue this music, and it goes from, you know, from that to look where they are now. So I really love that track. Then we got Basquiat on the draw, and it begins with a nice interview with a young lady interview with Basquiat, rather. I'm sorry. You know, asking Basquiat how he creates his art. And then this freaking beat, Apollo Brown, I'm telling you, man, you did it on this one. It features Conway and Westside Gunn, and it's just crazy bars over a freaking crazy beat, and it's Basquiat on the draw, y'all. Then we get into Vibes. What's up with the vibes? What's up with the vibes? I love this track because Skyzoo is basically, you know, trying to get back the essence of hip hop. He's asking, you know, what's going on? Why are you getting these vibes? Why is New York, you know, giving out these types of vibes? Where's hip hop going? And he's really basically begging for us to bring real hip hop back. So I really love that track. Then we got On the Stretch and Bob Show, and this is just a crazy freestyle when Skyzoo was on there prior to the release of this album, and he just goes bananas with the bars, y'all. We got Spoils to the Victor, another dope sample by Apollo Brown, basically saying after, you know, he's putting in all this work, he's going to get what he deserves. So I really love that track. Visionary Riches, another dope track. They parked the Bentley on the corner, you know, the awe and just seeing a Bentley parked on the corner and you wanting that. I love that, Skyzoo. We got The Flyest Essence, another dope sample. Skyzoo talking his progression and how fly things have become, you know, for him. Innocent Ambition, another good track as he talks, you know, how he looked up to the older heads and how they made him, you know, chase his dreams. You know, just telling him that he basically didn't have no future and he wanted to just prove him wrong. I love that. We got care packages rather. you know, he talks looking out for those who looked out for him, and how he's just going to keep doing this until his team is on top. What we got? We got Payout featuring Stally. It was so good to hear Stally. Stally doesn't get the recognition that he deserves. I love this track. He talks about, you know, how you just got to go out and go get it. You know, because sometimes money moves a little slow, and you know, some changes got to be made in order for you to succeed. You need to get that money, go get that fast money, and the things that you got to do to get that money. And I love that beat. We ended off with Nodding Off, a great way to begin this album. I'm really digging this year of how these artists are ending these albums out really, really good. It just brings you into the mind of Skyzoo. You know, I don't know. What can I say? He talks chasing his fame, creating great music that's going to be timeless. I love it. I love it. I love it. Him and Apollo Brown, thank y'all. I'm going to rate this, and I'm going to get off of your nerves. I definitely had to give on this one. And I'll be back.